So this does come down to, straight up rich dad, poor dad, the 4 quadrants, cash flow quadrants. So most of us, we're employees before we got into real estate. So we were trading time for money, albeit not great money. We got into real estate and it's like your time equals like more money. Like, it's like, holy cow, I went from being a teacher making 40,000 to now I can make 100 or 150,000. We kind of ignore the fact that it takes 7 days a week to do it. So that's part of the problem, but really we want to operate over on the right side. So for Real Estate B School, I'm teaching agents to become team builders, right? So they can get leverage through systems and technology and that sort of thing. So you can get some leverage having other people help you make money, but the rev share falls square in the B, right? So we get referral income on all of these sales that are happening and providing value along the way. Here's the thing that you have to deal with no matter what, even if you decide never to do agent attraction. This was the path that I was on pre-EXP. So I went to Wealth Mastery with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins told me that achieving true financial freedom is spending less than you make, investing the difference until you get a critical mass of investment capital where you can live off the interest. So a simple way of saying that is save a pile of cash so you can live off of whatever interest. And you can do it through investment properties. And it's not the only way, but that was the path that I was going down. So I was just saving money. We were living a good life and still giving, but I was just saving money. My number was 7.2 million. Once I got to 7.2 million at 5%, it would throw off $30,000 a month. That was my freedom number. You have to know what your freedom number is, regardless of whether you do agent attraction. Because at some point you're going to want to opt out of showing homes on evenings and all the stupid stuff we do as real estate agents. So the reality is that it's way easier to produce the residual income on the left side without having to save the money on the right side. That's the ninth wonder of the world that is agent attraction. And once you understand that, I think it will motivate you to take action. So this is the math, whether you like it or not, and it has nothing to do with agent attraction. If your undone number is 7.2 million, that's mine, and I had saved, let's say 2.4 million liquid, the gap is 4.8 million. Let's say I was saving 10,000 a month. I was still 40 years away from having that pile of money. And I'm a saver. I'm saving $20,000 a month and I wasn't getting to my number quick enough. So that's just math. Whether anyone likes it or not, you have to face it at some point. And then when you look at a few conservative examples around agent attraction, this is, on the left side, I call it a 5x5. It's you invite 5 that invite 5, and you can make different assumptions on numbers. But that left example is you bringing 5 people in and then helping them bring some friends in. So the left side example is you inviting 5, they invite 5, an organization of 30 agents, and it probably is higher than the typical agent. They're at 67,000 GCI. So you could argue that that's maybe an aggressive assumption, but either way, the math works out to about $5,000 a month. That number right there is the equivalent of you saving $1.2 million. So when I think about that, what's easier to do? Bring 5 people to EXP or save $1.2 million? It is so drastically easier. I have saved multiple millions of dollars, and I don't say that from an ego standpoint, but guys, the amount of work I did to do it was painful. The amount of risk I took on to do it, in the 100,000 plus a month of overhead in my real estate team. And even the coaching business I had, it's just a bunch of moving parts. So I figured out a way to make money and save a lot of it, but it was so freaking hard, guys. I don't even want to go back and tell you how hard it was. So you just have to trust me that this is the easiest way to do it. And if you can see yourself bringing in 5 and supporting them to bring in 5, then you could see yourself bringing in 10 and using that same ratio. That's the middle that has you at about 10,000 a month. And even if it's exaggerated, it's 7 or 8. That's like over $2 million of net worth saved. And that's straight Tony Robbins, like no funny math. You can't argue with it. It's a problem whether or not you do agent attraction or not. And then the cool thing about the second to the third happens without you doing anything. You're going to say like, holy cow, there are agents on my third level. I don't even know these people. And then you're going to have 110 people in your organization, and you'll be, 12 to 15,000 a month, which is saving over $3 million. So if you look at your financial, hopefully you guys are tracking your net worth. If you look at your net worth now, and your liquid net worth is everything you could turn into cash in less than 7 days. If it's not over $1 million, so it doesn't include your house or investment real estate, but if it's not over $1 million, then you don't really have a sense of what it takes to get to $1 million liquid net worth. You just have to trust me that it's going to be way easier bringing 5 agents to EXP than saving $1 million. It's just super hard to save $1 million. It's not impossible. And I'm not saying if you're listening to this, you can't do it. But if you haven't done it already, then I'd double down on agent attraction before I figured out how can I sell more homes and, go down some other path and save a whole bunch of money. So when I start to understand these numbers and how like, holy cow, I'm averaging about a $15 to $16 million net worth now through agent attraction, 25, 26 months in. Yes, I had a bunch of sweat equity put into the coaching company, but I did not have anywhere near that amount of liquid net worth. So you have to understand this is the math that once you understand it, and then you can just look at, it may take you 10 times as long to do what I did. And for some of you, it would still be worth it. Right. So it took me 2 years to make $1 million at EXP. I'll do hopefully, $1 million in the next 12 months. So it may take you 15 to 20 years to build something like this, and it's still worth it. So look at my front level is the 4 that turned into 8, and then 8, and then 10 and 20. So my first 4 months, I got to 10 people that joined me. And then all the seeds that I planted turned into 20 and 25. So like I told a lot of people, probably told I made 150 calls maybe to bring 25 people in. And that's about the ratio. You'll have 20 to 30% of people that you call, that you approach properly. You get them to, you don't say, sorry for calling when they say they know about EXP. You got to push through some things, but the conversion rates are really, really high. So that's another thing. You're only going to not do agent attraction if you don't do agent attraction. And I'm really confident about that. And, if you look at the rev share, the 992 and the 6133 and the 11215, that line down there, my month 5 and 6, my organization was at 150 and 222, but it takes agents some time to sell some homes. So in my month 7 and my month 8, where I made 26,000 and 30,000, those were from those first 6 months of effort. So if all you did was take my first 6 months, you took a screenshot of this and say, okay, my goal in the next 3 years is to get to where Lars got in 6 months. And I believe the math because it's actual math. You'll be at a $20,000 to $25,000 monthly residual income. I'm telling you, it will probably take you longer to do it, but you don't have to put 7.5 years of running a coaching company, spending millions of dollars on crap to convince agents to do what I want them to do to come into my world at Real Estate B School. You guys just have to make a list of 100 to 200 agents and actually do the work. And we've got scripts and all that stuff I can give you guys. But the mindset to me is the net worth equivalent. There's nothing I've seen like it. Just think about like acquiring a rental property in your market. What would it cash flow? Like if you're lucky, it would cash flow. And you bring one agent to EXP and if they're a capper, they'll cash flow at $250 a month. Mm-hmm. And if they
that's an interesting thing, Lars, because I was meeting with an agent here locally on Friday, and we were talking about that. He has 72 doors. All are pretty much long-term holds. There's a couple that were short-term, but he doesn't do that anymore. And, he closed on 3 properties in one day, and the total cash flow of those 3 was $450 a month. And he brought his 11-year-old son with because he teaches his children a lot about investing in real estate and whatnot. And he said, when my 11-year-old son is unimpressed with the cash flow amount, that is not good, and he was kind of making a joke, but for all of the work that they did, and, yes, he didn't use his money because after 72 properties, he's pulling money out, he's refinancing, selling without selling, right? And taking that cash. And yet they fixed up the property in order to rent it out, all the work they had to do to get it prepared and then rented. For 3 properties to make $450 a month. Now, he even said at 72 doors, he has, I think, 6 children. It doesn't pay their bills. That is not a passive income that actually pays their bills. It makes them money and they reinvest it. And over time, is he building wealth? Of course, as these properties are paid off. But from a perspective of living on that money day in and day out, it doesn't actually cut it. And so people don't really realize when you're looking at what people are doing, it's a huge investment of time and money for a very small amount of reward in the meantime. And so I think that when we look at this and we go, well, we could go acquire 72 doors. By the way, that's taken him well over 10 years to do. Or we could focus on this and just do what Lars did. Or I say the exact same thing. You don't have to be someone that is attracting agents full-time like Lars, myself, and with our backgrounds. And yet, how many of you are planning to retire in, 5 years or 10 years? Probably not many of you. And so why would we not be doing this work when we know, and we've got so many people that have gone before us and we can see these numbers and we know that this could be our reality too. We don't have to act as if we're going to get rich fast on this, but if we do the work, we will build a lot of wealth because it's just proven time and time again by a lot of people. So I love that. Sometimes we have a different perspective. We're looking at what other people are doing and we're assuming what they're actually making. I think that's a very dangerous thing. We can just look at our opportunity and realize we could probably get in the same place that they are and do a lot less work with a lot less risk. And do it in a way that we really are proud of, because you started this call out, Lars, talking about, this is a phenomenal opportunity, but it truly is, if you can wrap your brain around it, the only true success through others company that exists. I mean, truly, we are not taking money from the agents that we're helping. There is no detriment from them, financially speaking, and we can really, really succeed together in a way that we cannot do that in other companies.
Thanks for listening to this webinar today. This is Will Penny with eXp Realty. If you have any questions about the model or agent attraction, please give me a call at 330-760-2866.